Good morning, everyone. Yeah, very good morning. So, shall we begin the session? Today's topic is today's topic is how to use the electronic payment system or how to gather the electronic payment system. What are the various scenarios for gathering the electronic payment system, that is the EPS, electronic payment system. Again, it is divided into multiple structure, that is objective, introduction, types of EPS, dimension in the sense what are the various routes, what are the various ways by which EPS will be carried out, that is the dimensions of EPS, traditional payment system versus the electronic payment system. Traditional in the sense that is carried out manually with the cash when there is no EPS system, then electronic payment and the protocol, security requirement in the EPS system and the customer empowerment, desirable properties of the digital currency, then electronic payment system in the India, and then future of the electronic payment system. So shall we start? So when we talk about the structure, there are multiple structure in this one. First is the objective, then there is an introduction. After the introduction, there is a types of EPS dimensions. So let's start with the introduction. So for the electronic commerce to have a chance to meet the soaring expectation, whatever the expectation that you need, whatever the experience that you need, so that is used in regard to the internet efficiently and effective payment system or services that needs to be established and accepted by the businesses and the consumers. Whatever the business, whatever the consumer that are like the resources, they are the effective and the efficient payment services that needs to be established, accepted by businesses and the consumers alike. And after going through this lesson, you will be able to describe the concept of the EPS. What is the concept of the EPS? That is, what is the electronic payment system, how it is used, what are the various security issues that is available in the EPS. First is the introduction. So EPS are central to the online business processes as companies look for the ways to serve customer faster and the lower cost. Whatever the services, whatever the customer resources that is available, that is used to serve faster and the lower cost is. And whenever we are emerging the innovation in the payment for the goods and the services, that offers also promise to offer a wide range of new business opportunities. What are the various new opportunities that is used to the EPS? And EPS and the e-commerce are highly linked given that online consumers must pay for the goods and the services. And whenever we are using the payment, it is an integral part of the mercantile process and prompt payment is very crucial. That means sudden payment is very crucial because that is used by the electronic payment, that is used by the electronic devices, like that may be a debit card, credit card, and that is prompt and secure payment, clearing and settlement of credit or debit cards. The current state of online electronic payment is in many ways that is used with various issues, and the merchants of the Asia and the Europe also faced a similar problem while trying to unlock the commercial potential of the expanding market. Whatsoever the expanding market criteria that is conflicted with this one. And those ancient traders faced a number of the obstacles, that is conflicting local laws and customs regarding the commercial properties or practices and compatible and non-compatible currencies that restricted the trade. And to circumvent some of these problems, traders invented various forms of electronic or payment instrument. Whatever the payment instrument that is used, so that is surrounded with the use of these concept that is available with the payment, that is used with the payment concept that used the instrument of the history of the trade and the commerce. And we are on the verge of the similar sort of the development today that is used with the traditional payment system to involve, and there's a bottleneck that is used in the fast moving electronic commerce environment, that if you rely on the conventional payment methods, the cash, checks, bank draft, or the bill of the exchange. Then EPS are becoming central to online business transactions. That is, nowadays it is we can say most of the persons are working with the EPS that are becoming central to the online business transaction nowadays, as companies look for the various methods to serve business or customers faster and more cost effectively. The e-commerce also brings a wide range of the new worldwide business opportunities, and there is no doubt that electronic payment systems are becoming more and more common and will play an important role in the business world. So there is more and more common facilities are available in the business worlds with the EPS, and that also involves a payer and the payee who exchange money for the goods and the services. So there is the payer, there is the payee who exchange the goods and services for the money. Now, next is awareness of the risk e-payment system. So EPS is also a system that concerned with the security, legal certainty, and trust, that are the various important element influencing the acceptance of the commerce by both individuals and the businesses. And multiple reports on the awareness of the risk are related to the non-transparent legal background for both the companies and the customers. And the main reason for the firms to be used, there may be insecurity caused by the lack of the legal rules determining when a transaction is legally binding. So whatsoever the legal binding, whatsoever the data that is legally binding, so that is available with the data that is available with the decisive actions. And the important issue is credit card acceptance by retailers in Euro. And whatsoever the originality on the ground, that is authorized transaction, that would be honored. And the general public remains unaware of the risk issues, and the main concern of the average consumer seems to be confidentiality about the credit card numbers that is exchanged on the internet. And some experts also share the view that the perceived lack of the security in online payment system is largely aggregated and not justified at all by the central threat. And whosoever the average customer that does not yet realize the risk of the compromising his card number in the far greater in conventional, that is face-to-face transactions on the internet, because everything is available online. You may use any telecommunication media, that may be via PC, smart card, or the mobile phone. That is also well-known device, well-known facility that is used with the traders inside the threads rather than by the external hackers. The next is the confidence in the reliable operation of the terminal equipment is essential. So whatsoever the confidence that is used in the reliable operation. The next is the types of EPS, types of the electronic payment system. One is the conventional payments process. Conventional process also includes a buyer to the seller transfer of the cash or payment system, and the actual settlement of payment takes place in the financial processing network. And the cash payment also requires a buyer withdrawal from his bank account, transfer of the cash to the seller, and the seller deposit to the payment to his or her account. That is also available with the non-cash payment mechanism that is settled by adjusting, that is debited and credited, and the appropriate accounts between the bank based on the payment information conveyed via the check or the credit card. And this is the figure that shows a simplified for both the cash and the non-cash transaction. What are the cash transactions? What are the non-cash transactions? And the cash moves from the buyer's bank to the seller's bank through face-to-face exchanges in the market. And if the buyer uses a non-cash method of payment information instead of the cash flows from the buyer to the seller, ultimately payments are settled between affected banks who notationally adjust accounts based on the payment information that is used for the payment of any of the following, that is information about the identifiers of the seller and the buyer, and give instruction to settle the payments without revealing the financial information. This is the seller's bank, deposit, seller, buyer, goods and the services, payment, info flows for the notational changes, buyer's bank, that is the cash or the payment information. This is the check simplified model of the transaction. So there's the seller's bank, there's the seller, info flows for the notational changes, buyer's bank, goods and the services, that is the payment system. This is the cash or the payment information, that is the credit card flows, simplified model of the information transaction that is used with the checks. Now this is the topic number 1, payment through an intermediary payment check clearing services, that is used with the face-to-face purchase, that is replaced with the online commerce, that is also used with the aspect of the transactions that occurs instantly, under which various processes of a normal business interaction are subsumed. For example, when we say about the typical purchase also involves stages of locating a seller, selecting a product, asking a price quote, making an offer, agreeing over the payment means, checking the identity and the validity of the payment mechanism, transferring of the goods and the receipt. And in order to be used as a substitute for the face-to-face payment, online payment system must incorporate the stages with their payment functions. And the lack of face-to-face interaction also leads to some secure methods of the payment being developed for the e-commerce, for the electronic commerce. That also deals with the security problems for the sensitive information about the identity. And this also figure that shows us that how to make the transaction using the intermediary, that is the settlements are noted with the dotted lines, dotted arrows, dark arrows, and the payment request and the confirmation. There's a seller's bank, buyer's bank, intermediary, seller, buyer, goods and services, buyer, then there is a ID number. So secured offline settlement, online settlement, and the confirmation. This is the transactions with an intermediary. Then there is a key benefit of this payment system, clearing system, is that it separates sensitive and the non-sensitive information, and only the non-sensitive information is exchanged online. Because everything is online, so there is a chance of the fraud, more fraud. Frauds are also available online, but there are less frauds as compared to the normal, we can say the manually. Then payment based on the EFT, that is the electronic fund transfer, that is a notational fund transfer. The second type does not depend on the central processing intermediary. Instead, they are using the sensitive information. Instead, they are using the sensitive payment information, such as the debit card, credit card, that is used, that is transmitted with the various order, that is used with the EDI. And there is a EFT, that is the electronic fund transfer, that is also a financial application of the EDI, which sends a credit card number of the electronic check via the secure private network between the banks and the major corporations. And to use the EFT to clear the payment in the settle accounts, an online payment service will also need to add the capabilities to process the orders, accounts, and the receipt. That is also used with the SET, that is a secure electronic transaction protocol, that the credit card based system supported by the Visa and the MasterCard, that uses the digital certificates, which are the digital credit cards. And this is a payment system that is used for the fund transfer, for the electronic fund and the wire transfer, which settle notational accounts of the buyer and the sellers. This is the seller's bank. Payment clear services, secured offline settlement, buyer's bank. Then there's the settlement, NFT, payment information, seller, online transactions, and the verification. So there's a notational fund transfer system that also differs from the payment clearing services. In the payment information transferred online contains sensitive financial information. Therefore, it is intercepted by the third party and may be abused, like stolen cards or the credit cards or the debit card. And the majority of the proposed electronic payment system falls into this second type of the payment system that is used. Second type of payment system is the electronic payment system that is used with the WAN, that is a private virtual area network. Then type 3, payment based on the electronic currency. That is the payment based on the electronic currency. So that third type of payment system transmit not only the payment information but also a digital representing values, that is the electronic currency. And the nature of the digital currency mirror that of the paper money as a means of the payment. So they are using the paper money. As such, digital currency payment system have some advantages as a paper currency method, namely anonymity and the convenience. As per the convenience, I am paying the money. And as with the electronic payment system, to security during the transmission and the storage is a concern, although from a different perspective. For the digital currency system, that also doubles the pending, counterfeiting, and the storage become critical issues, whereas eavesdropping and various methods, the issue of the liability are important for the notational fund transfer. This figure also shows a digital currency payment scheme. Then there's a seller's bank, banker's bank, or buyer's bank, seller, buyer. Goods and services payment. This is a transfer of the inside money. And the only difference from the figure is that it acts as an electronic bank which converts outside money into the inside money that is circulated within the online market. However, as a private monetary system, digital currency will have a wide-ranging impact on money and monetary system with implications extending far beyond mere transactional efficiency. The next one is dimensions of the EPS. What are the various dimensions of the EPS? This can be considered by merely the next, albeit significant step in the long line of the changes in the payment clearing system. And the electronic settling of the account, for example, has been long as an integral part of the payment system using the credit card, debit card, automatic teller machines, and the prepaid cards. What enables my payment mechanism that is to be processed electronically, that is a fact, like currency, bill, coins which carry monetary values, non-cash mechanisms are the promises or the contacts of the payments. Then these are the dimensions of the EPS. There is a dimension. One is a cash, one is a personal check, credit card, stored value, that is a debit value, accumulating balance. So instantly convertible without intermediary, yes. Cash, yes. Personal check, no. Credit card, no. Stored value, that is debit card, no. Accumulating the balance, no. Then low transaction cost for the small transaction. Cash, yes. Personal check, no. Credit card, no. Stored value, that is the debit card, no. Accumulating balance, yes. Then low transaction cost for the large transactions. Cash, no. Personal check, yes. Credit card, yes. Stored value, yes. Accumulating balance, yes. Then refutable, that is able to be replicated, yes, no, no, yes. Then financial risk for the merchant, anonymous for the consumer, anonymous for the merchant, immediately rependable. Then security against the unauthorized use. Then tempered resistance, that is yes, 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 no, no, no. Then requires authentication, special hardware required, bars, key float, accounts required. Then immediate monetary value. What is the immediate monetary value? That is available with the data that is available with the dimensions of the EPS. Then 5.4 is traditional payment system versus electronic payment system. Offline versus online. So offline payment have no contact with the third party during the payment. Then next one is trusted hardware. Yeah, this is very trusted hardware that is seeks to prevent double spending requirement, that is used with the temper resistant hardware at the pair ends. And this is smart card is one of the example that is used over here. And the temper resistant hardware may also be used at the pay end. That is example is given for the security modules of the post terminal, that is mandatory in the case of the shared key elements. With the post terminals, that is mandatory in case of the shared key elements in cases where the pay does not forward the individual transactions but the total cost of the transactions is used in the critical sense, that is the temper resistant there. Then cryptography, that means digital signature is placed with the cryptography. Then crypto-free systems. There is a crypto-free system that is used with the means of relying on the outbound security that goods with the extraordinary basis that is available with the not delivered until effects arrive from this. The generic payment switch, shared key cryptography, public key, digital signature, paper anonymity. Then e-payments and the protocol. What are the various e-payment and what are the various protocols? There are many protocols that is used. One is SSL, TLS, SET, IOTP. SSL is secure socket layer that was designed by the Netscape as a method for to secure client-server communication over the internet. Then TLS, that is also a protocol. Then HTTP. Then SET, secure electronic transaction, that is also protocol for the cryptography that is similar to the SSL, enjoying a communication of the DEA secure key as well as RSA public key schemes, then the main difference is that its scope. Set scope has a very high scope. SSL does not have a very high scope or the huge scope. And after completing the order process, the customer click a button on the website payment page to activate a wallet application. Then set also provides a high degree of the privacy for the customer by encrypting payment information so that only the bank can see it. Only the bank can provide the set protocols. This is the order information, dual signature encrypted, public key, private key, payment information. The next one is IOTP, Internet Open Trading Protocol, that provides an interoperable framework for the consumer to business interface on internet-based electronic commerce. The selection is a particularly good example of mapping e-commerce to the real place that is used with the IOTP. The next one is security requirements in EPS. What are the various security requirements? One is the integrity and the authorization, that is used with no money to be taken from a user without explicit authorization by the user. It may also disallow the receipt of the payment without explicit consent to prevent the occurrences of the things like unsolicited bribery. That is authorized. Everything is authorized. Then outbound authorization, that is used for the verifying party that notifies the authorizing party of a transaction. Then next one is a password authentication or authorization. So there is a password check that the password is of a minimum of 6 characters, 8 characters. Then signature authorization, that also verifies with a digital signature, that is also provides non-reputation of the origins. Only the owner of this one can sign the messages. Then confidentiality, some parties also involved wish confidentiality of the transactions. That means a restriction of the knowledge about various pieces of the information that is related to the transaction. That is identity of the payer payee, purchase content, amount, and so on. Then availability and the reliability. There's availability that is also used with the content with the payment whenever it is necessary. Then electronic payment and the consumer empowerment, that is also used in the fundamental ways that cash and checks cannot provide. And one of the clearest ways is the security that disputes the resolution provides, offering the consumers as a form of the insurance against purchases of the faulty goods, faulty products that are not delivered or lower in the quality than expected. Then desirable properties of the digital currency. What are the desirable property? There is a monetary value. Monetary value in the sense monetary limit that is used with the digital currency that must be exchanged for the other goods and services, and that can be used to pay the obligation or transfer to the another person. That is a monetary value. Then convenience, security, authentication. This is authentication, non-refundability. There is no refundability, anonymity. Then prospects, how it is managed with the credit card transactions. Then